That means this is real.
That means this is real. Oh my goodness. Yeah. The Zoom lady telling you that it is recording is never not daunting. So
Well,
should we
hi,
introduce?
friend.
Hello, hello. I've missed you.
Welcome back.
How have you been?
Stunning. Stunning. It's been a fun couple of weeks. Got a
Yeah.
new car after the old
Hey,
one was wrecked, but it's totally fun.
we love a new car.
Got to
We love
break it in now. Now it's like when you get a new phone and you have to teach it all the curse words that you use, kind of that kind of thing. But hello, everyone, and welcome back to Can't Get You Out of My Head, the podcast dedicated to all the songs that we just can't stop listening to. If you recognize that voice, you know who's back in the house.
My name is Astin and I rock.
And I'm Colin Jost, and this is Weekend Update.
Oh, okay. So we've only got about an hour today for no
Yeah.
other reason than I've got to jet and do things. And then he's got to jet and do things. But we have gathered here today to talk about one thing and one thing only. So first, before we get into it, which of the diss tracks, which of the diss tracks is stuck in your head right now?
Oh, shit. Meet the Grams is what was the one after Meet the Grams?
From who? From Kendrick?
From Kendrick.
Not Like Us.
Not like us. That line, and I sent you a video.
Yeah.
I literally was driving, I was like, I cannot fathom this. When he says, you think you struck a chord, but it's really A
It's
minor.
minor.
The scream, I scrumped a scream. It doesn't seem fair at this point.
Oh, it's we're gonna get into that because
Like
oh
this man is destroying Drake on every fathomable level.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, bro. It's like uh, uh, down to talking about texting with Millie Bobby Brown. Like,
Which is everyone has pointed out, Kendrick didn't bring up any names.
okay.
So it was like, we just said you was talking to minors. Why are you bringing up Millie? And granted, you could have looked on the internet and saw that we was like, why is you talking to Millie? You could have, we sure, but
Sure.
so before we get into it, I want to say my favorite of the tracks is still Euphoria.
Oh, yeah.
It's
I
still
feel like that was I almost think of it like a roller coaster. Like
yeah,
before
because
that, we were just like on the way up, and then Euphoria said, and we're going.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's when Kendrick said, okay, no gloves.
No
Let's go.
gloves.
Let's go, little boy.
Let's go. I like it because like seemingly the breath control is crazy because
Yes.
aside from the ad libs, it just sounds like he did that all in one go, just like
Uh-huh.
pure, unadulterated, unstoppable hatred. Ver-
But it's also somebody else pointed out that like it sounds like Kendrick is having fun. Like he's not going at Drake hard. Like he's
yeah,
literally making fun of this little
yeah.
for the fake accents, for the BBLs, for the
I hate the way that
baby,
you walk. I hate the way that
baby.
you hate it. It's like, oh, well, damn.
I mean
So,
the lines in Not Like Us about going to Atlanta to get street cred.
oh, okay. So I think for those who are clueless, we should talk about these tracks in order or
Okay,
give sort of context.
all
So,
right.
about a month ago, March 4th, Um, Kendrick was featured on the Future. So Future and Metro Boomin released an album,
Yes.
a joint album.
Yes.
On that track is Like That. And like that verse reverberated immediately through the hands of hip hop heads with iPhones at parties, already, like, just immediately, because fuck the big three, it's just big me.
Motherfuck the big three is just big me.
And so, of course, J. Cole, enters, and then J. Cole immediately backs out. To
Yeah.
which, of course,
He
and
said,
I
too
talked
rich for
about
my blood. Too rich. I can't go.
what's interesting, and we'll get to that because I'm going on this other timeline, right?
Yeah.
I just remember being like, well, this is delicious. Everyone who's a J. Cole fan is now scrambling and their heart is stopping. And I'm like, haha, because you ain't back down and apologize to No Name, but we won't, we'll leave that alone. But it was interesting because I'm like, but what is Drake going to say? Now, Drake didn't respond. It's worth noting that Drake didn't respond with push-ups until April, right?
Yes.
No one was
April
begging
19th.
for Drake to respond, or at least I wasn't. I don't know. Maybe people were.
Well, Push Ups and Taylor Made came out at the same time.
They did, but they both didn't come out to April. And the reason I
Yeah.
bring that up is because Drake was like, when he dropped push-ups, and when he dropped Taylor Made,
Yeah.
he was saying that he was complaining that Kendrick did not respond fast enough. Every single day he was like, come on, respond, respond, respond. Now, for those, I finally listened to push-ups today, which is funny because I was like, I need to have an objective opinion before we have this podcast.
Mm-hmm.
And so he responds with push-ups. But push-ups is actually like um if I had listened to this in order like I was supposed to, it was a very worthy response. Because he
Yes.
addressed, people being signed and getting, um, getting unfair splits of a song, giving Kendrick his first number one, how everybody's jealous because, he kind of acknowledges himself as a kingmaker. Problematic, but he acknowledged himself, and it's like, all right, points were made. People got their number ones because of you. Yes.
Sure.
Sure. Mm-hmm.
Sure.
Rap flow was great. There was drop it, give me 50. It was like, it was trying to be a twerk anthem. It kind of wasn't, but it was, the seeds were there. And so it was like, okay, Tailor Made, I don't think maybe it's still available, but that was the one where he put AI, Snoop Dogg, and Tupac on the track.
Which Tupac's estate was not happy about.
Immediately,
That boy got a cease and desist
immediately, immediately.
immediately.
Because, like, first, don't play on Tupac's name.
Mm-mm.
I already find it weird when people make, like how Anderson .Paak had to get a whole tattoo that was like, when I die, you can't make any songs with my voice. And people are like, that's really stupid because record companies are going to do what they do. But it's also like, but I feel him because that's genuinely distasteful.
Well, I
And
mean,
we should not
it's
be advocating for record companies doing what they want to do after death. Like,
yeah.
we should not be advocating for that.
Well, I mean, Doja Cat, the most recent one, oh shit, bitch, I said what I said. I'd rather be famous instead.
Diane Warwick.
That Dionne Warwick sample, she didn't know that it was even in there until the song came out.
Yes.
She wasn't even informed. And it's like, she was like, well, that's how the music industry works. I don't have to be informed. And
Yeah.
that's so shitty. That's
So,
so
and,
shitty.
and Dionne Warwick is still here.
It's not like she's gone off the earth.
Speaking of people who are still here, it also didn't make sense for him to use a Snoop Dogg AI
Snoop
because
Dogg, that man, you
he's
can literally
alive.
call him.
You
You know,
can
he's
call
hanging
him.
out
And
with
the fact
Martha
that you
Stewart.
didn't, lets me know that they don't fuck with you for real. Because do
It's
they have a song together? Do Drake and Snoop Dogg have a song together? I feel like they should at this point. No? If they don't, then that says a lot because Snoop Dogg was giving everybody features at one point. He was like the uncle.
um Snoop Lion featuring Drake and Corey B. No Guns Allowed.
Okay. Okay. I
That
remember
was in
the song.
2013.
Oh yeah. That don't count.
So way before Drake became a bitch.
Right. Arguably. So Taylor Made Freestyle comes out. That comes, everyone is like AI Snoop when Snoop is alive. Very weird. AI Tupac, and Tupac the state is like he's dead and you don't have the clearance.
Yeah.
Also weird. But I'm really glad that this a statement was made culturally that we just aren't going to accept that because I don't think people were fucking with it at all. And
Honestly,
I
I think that was probably his biggest misstep is
yeah,
pulling a, uh, pulling a dead man into the fight
right.
when the guy did not have he didn't know you. He didn't fuck with you.
Yeah.
He had no say in the matter, but you're pulling him into this to try to diss somebody else. What
And
kind
it's
of
supposed
tacky
to
shit
be
is this?
because it's supposed to be like because Kendrick uses which with clearance Tupac's monologue at the end of To Pimp a Butterfly because at the end of Mortal Man to make it sound like they're having
Yes.
a conversation. And so Drake was trying to pull on that, and it just
Hard.
misses. So
Hard. Yeah.
10 days later, Kendrick Without Warning drops Euphoria. And
Which
that's when the real
it took me a second to realize that whole shindig because I didn't realize that Drake was an executive producer on the show Euphoria.
I remember okay. Yeah. 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 So then, so where were you when you first heard Euphoria?
I was at home cooking my breakfast, and I think you texted me and said something about it. And I was like, "Oh God, okay. Let me just set this to the side. Let me just collect my life." And it just, I, it's kind of like the upcoming Jake Paul and Mike Tyson fight. I would never in my life try to go up against somebody who I knew was better than me. Point blank, period.
Hmm.
Drake, you do not have a Pulitzer Prize. That does not, a Pulitzer Prize is not just garbage. It's not a small feat.
Yeah.
It's not a Grammy. It's not a MTV Music Award. It's a fucking Pulitzer Prize for poetry. And you're gonna try to go against that? That'd be like the little bitch from the coffee shop trying to start calling out Maya Angelou. Bitch, sit down.
So let's get into some of my favorite lines. We have to
Oh,
take a
oh,
picture
oh.
together. We have to take a picture together because I want to use the caption, when I see you stand to the sexy red, I believe you see two bad bitches.
Fat. Uh, I mean, my favorite was you're not a rap artist, you're a scam artist.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then also Tommy Hilfiger stood out, but FUBU never been your collection.
There was you
Ouch.
said 20 verse 1. It's 1 verse 20 if I gotta slap niggas that right with you. I ascended. I ascended
I
immediately.
mean, it's what's the line? I hate the way you walk, the way that you talk, which is giving me 10 things I hate about you. Down.
In the word, in the best way. In the
I
best
hate the way that you dress. I hate the way that you sneak dissing. If I flight, it's gonna be direct. We hate the bitches you fuck because they confuse themselves with real
real
women.
women. How many black features until you feel black enough? Let's
Ugh, ugh, my God.
no notes.
I just and go so going back real quick to the tailor-made freestyle.
Mhm.
He made fun of Kendrick for essentially being a feature on Bad Blood and saying that Taylor made his career, et cetera, et cetera.
Oh, right. I forgot about that. Yes.
But
It introduced him to Swifties, which has been interesting because Swifties are going hard for Kendrick as well. It's so strange.
and I'm not trying to bring other people in here to try to catch strays, but Drake, you were on a Rihanna song. You were on a pop song as a feature, doing the exact
Well,
same thing.
we're gonna put a pin in that because we're gonna talk about all of that. I think with because Drake, Lil Wayne made him essentially.
Yeah.
Lil Wayne made him. I do think Rihanna is who crossed him over completely. But um yeah,
But
I think
but
when
he
he
still bites the hand that feeds because at a concert a couple of months ago, he started playing work and then was like, ah, shut that shit off. I don't want to sing this. You mean the
he's
song
still
that made
mad
you,
about
bitch?
ASAP Rocky. He's still mad about the VMAs.
You mean the song that made you, bitch? You don't want
Hmm.
to sing it?
Well, the song that made
I
him
bet.
is actually not work, but the other one, the hey boy, I really wanna be with you. Would you could you go downtown with a girl like me? Hey boy, I really wanna see with you. Cause it's just my type. Oh na
Oh,
na
na na na
na.
na. Yep.
Oh, pinstripe blazers for the win. But let's get back on track.
All right. So
So
yeah, we're
so
on
he
Euphoria.
drops Euphoria. Then
And then he comes out with 616 in LA.
right, 616 in LA and then Family Matters. Okay, because I couldn't remember if Family Matters came before or after 616, but he dropped 616 in LA and he only makes it available for Instagram since Drake doesn't use anything but Instagram.
Which I also love that Kendrick's not putting this on streaming. He's not trying to make money off this shit. He's just like, yo, let's have a good old fucking battle.
Let's do it. Let's do it. And then I do think though that he's waiting for clearance for Al from Al Green though.
Probably.
Um, which understandable.
Uh-huh.
616. I listened to it a couple times. I don't want to have to go to Instagram to listen to a song. So I haven't
No,
listened to it.
I'm the multiple meanings behind the title is what gets me.
Oh, that was my favorite part
Because
because
June 16th, Tupac's birthday.
right,
June 16th, Euphoria dropped its first episode.
sure did. June 16th, because the cover of it was
The
OJ
glove.
Simpson's glove, and
Yeah.
that was the day he was indicted.
And then also the Bible verse Corinthians 6:16.
Mhm.
Do you not know that he who unites himself with a prostitute is one with her body? For it is said, the two will become one flesh.
June 16, 2023 was also when they said that AI music was inadmissible to the Grammys. It's so many.
It's so, it is,
And
I mean,
and
I'm sorry.
and because we didn't talk about the best part about Euphoria. Because when he says I'm too busy, he's like, what he say? Hip hop is in my life. I'm still raising a son, but you don't know nothing about that.
But you don't know nothing about that.
Give him the pray, know nothing about that. And I'm sitting
I
there,
love him
know nothing
so
about that.
much.
Because June 16th is also what? Father's Day.
I make music that electrify him. You make music that pacify him. I can double down on that line, but spare you this time. That's random acts of kindness. So just that line, you make music that pacify him.
Mhm. I need to pull up the lyrics as well.
It's that's another double meaning because what do you do to children, to babies? You pacify them.
Oh, I didn't even think about that.
A minor.
Hey,
What?
So, so
Hold on, let's
then,
take a quick break. Come back. Boop boop,
okay,
and
break.
we'll be our BRB kids. And Welcome back to Can't Get You Out of My Head. We're obviously talking about the feud of all feuds, not Nicki Minaj and Megan Thee Stallion. This is that was peanuts compared to
Right.
this
It
feast
was,
you're getting.
well, hold on,
I'm
because I have
holding.
to give it to my girl Megan Thee Stallion for waking it up. I really think Megan was like, you know what? I'm gonna drop this shit. I'm gonna talk about your abs, your BBL. I'm not gonna address you no more, and that's that. And I feel like Kendrick was like, well, you know, fucking what? As a matter of fact, ma'am, let me, since you're finished, I'm just getting started because absolutely. I really felt like Kendrick heard his and was like,
It's like, oh, you think he's a bitch too? I got
man,
you. I got
I got you. You ain't
tag
gotta
in.
say less. I got you. Tag team. Go.
Boop.
Like I really feel like that's how it went. And I'm still like, I still want the feature. You
Yep.
know, meanwhile, we're just, I'm glad that she's on tour because she been lying to the king.
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm also glad that Glorilla's on tour. That bitch better not get another DUI. That's a different story.
it is, but she's got a great mixtape. I don't know if you've heard it.
I have.
It's so
Yes,
red.
I have.
It's so good. It's
That
so
that line about get your wig turned around like Effie, I ran around the room. You got the same dress I got on? Yeah. You got the same wig I got on? Yeah.
Yeah.
Then shut up.
Okay, so we'll,
Ah,
we'll go back. So we're back at 616 in LA. Right after that, or the day after that, Drake drops.
yes.
Or it feels like it's less than 24 hours. Drake drops Family Matters. I
Family
didn't listen to Family
matters.
Matters till today.
Okay.
And again, another worthy response had I listened to it in order, like I was supposed to. Because 30 minutes after Drake drops, mind you, because I'm at the Atlanta Film Festival this time. That's why y'all haven't seen me, right? That's
Yes.
why y'all haven't heard my voice. So shout out to Max. Max Aaron is one of our photographers. And in the middle of me, chopping it up with Ricky, who was like our venue manager, I'm like, Ricky, we need 5 chairs for the Q&A. We need this, we need that. Hold on, Max, what do you need? Drake just dropped. And me and Ricky are like, oh shit. So that takes precedent. And so like I just remember being in the theater and I'm like, okay, I have to listen to the Drake song after this. He turns around, he's like, no. Kendrick just dropped. And I'm like, what?
Pause everything.
What? I was like, how did they? What? So, Family Matters, before we get into the drop of all drops, what did you think of Family Matters? Oh, you haven't listened to it, or did you care?
No, I've listened to it. I'm trying to gather my thoughts.
Okay.
Uh the line about you preach it's something like I need to pull up lyrics, but it's like you
Oh, you
preach
rap like you're preaching to the slaves, or you're trying to free the
yeah,
slaves?
it's
That
like you
line?
preach being a black king while laying with a mixed queen, and then you hit vanilla cream to help out with your self-esteem.
Yeah, that
I
was
so
that was
so yeah,
brutal. That
obviously
was brutal.
Team Kendrick all day. Drake is a bitch. Whoever wrote that line, like I am off to the side eating the popcorn, just nom, nom, nom,
Yeah,
nom, nom, nom.
that was pretty
Like
brutal.
growing up, I used to love watching the Bad Girls Club simply to watch people fight. That gives me my
I mean, that's why
life
you
to watch people fight. As long as I'm not in the drama, I love drama. And so when he said that, it was just like, oh god damn, you are hitting below the belt now.
we are hitting below the belt there.
It's
I
just we're getting progressively more and more.
He had a line about, let me pull it up. Let me pull up Family Matters lyrics because I listened, I heard that and was like, I did grasp my pearls, like, okay, fair. And he starts the song, which feels kind of like a double down.
Yeah.
Um, so Kendrick talks about how he doesn't feel comfortable with Drake saying the N-word. He was like, some shit ain't deep. It's just, it's just me, I guess, which I thought was hilarious. And so Drake starts the song with the N-word. He's like, um, He's like, nigga, I said it. You know what you mad? I've emptied the clip over friendlier jabs. You mentioned my seed. Nah, deal with his dad. I gotta go bad. I gotta go bad. Um,
I do like
wait,
that line. You mentioned my seed, got to deal with the dad.
Meet
Cute.
the Grams came after this, right?
Meet the Grams came after this, yes.
Okay, thought so. That's right. So Meet the Grams came 30 minutes after this.
Because this was when Kendrick said, this was supposed to be a good exhibition within the game, but you fucked up the moment you called out my family's name. Oh no.
So let's go ahead and skip to Meet the Grams
Hold on.
because
There's one
go
more
ahead, go ahead, go
honorable
ahead, go ahead, go
mention
ahead, go
from
ahead, go ahead.
Drake when he said, I heard that one of them little kids might be Dave Free.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
always rapping like you about to get the slaves freed. You just acting like an activist. It's make believe. And then
So
also then also the video with the van getting crushed, the van from the
I
album
haven't seen the
cover.
video. Now I do have to see the video. I do have to see it. I've heard that it's funny.
It's
I've heard that it's funny, but I heard that
yeah.
by the time I had time to watch the video, Meet the Grams had dropped.
Yeah, right. And
So
you're like, let's go to the better stuff. Let's do the better stuff.
I think when Family Matters would turn me off to listening to it the first time because I didn't get a chance. I was like, somebody calls you out for utilizing your likeness to whiteness,
Yes.
sell records. And your response is, well, you rap like you're trying to get the slaves free. And I'm not gonna lie, that sat not great with me. Um, because while I think it was supposed to be like a jab towards him not being like a real activist, which Kendrick has received before. I think people are like, he's not a conscious rapper, he's an introspective rapper.
Yeah,
Um,
I would give him that.
I'll give him, you know what I'm saying? Like, I think Kendrick makes a lot of music that is revolutionary. I don't think that he's ever said that I am a revolutionary,
Yes.
which I think is important. I think he's always been kind of aware, like he's always been proud of self. But I think honestly, that's kind of what it takes to be an activist is just to know that you're not going to save the world,
Yeah.
that you are a part of. You're not a cog in the machine, but you're. So that line, I remember being like, that certainly is a jab, but that being your retort after someone calling you out for like that, now it does make us question, what are you doing in a culture that prized itself off being revolutionary and being a very prominent aspect in revolutionary music? Now I
Mhm.
have to look at you different.
Have to.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
That was the line, and I unfortunately read that line before I listened to the song. And so that's why I waited till today to listen to it. Because I'm like, if that is true what you said, and some people were just like, I think it was a key. I don't think it was, it was that deep. I'm like,
We're past the level of Kiki. Like this
right, right,
we've been bare knuckle boxing for the last two tracks.
right, right, right. I think that's, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And and so um I do believe like he was snapping on this for sure. As a like in terms of hip hop, it gets my kudos for that. And I do think if Family Matters had time to breathe, it would have aged a little better. It would have aged a little better. But
But
for
it
me,
didn't.
Grams to come a whole 29 minutes after this,
So I wonder if Kendrick had this in the can ready to go, or
absolutely.
if he heard the song, it was like, and we're writing and we're recording and mixing and getting this out in yo. Because I mean, just that process from start to finish, you did that in 30 minutes. Give him another prize.
Give him he's like, Kendrick opened his mouth, he's getting another Grammy. It was like, oh
Yep.
well, thank you for manifesting that for your opponent.
Right. I would love for them to be nominated for this. It's the Grammys next year, like best rap something, and then Kendrick win.
I just want to say also, related, unrelated. I'm very grateful that this beef took over my Twitter feed because it stopped the um the influx of random porn clips. It stopped this stupid arguments about like dating.
Uh-huh.
I'm seeing,
Oh, the
like
whole like
hypothetical,
man versus bear in the woods thing.
got a little bit of pause on that, but we ain't forgot about you, Diddy.
We gonna come back to that
We're
ass.
coming back.
We coming.
We have not forgotten about you. If this was a ploy, a scheme to get eyes off you, no, no,
No,
we have not forgotten. In fact,
I will never
I have
forgive him
outed your accomplice.
or forget the fact that he made these random little kids on a television show walk across New York City at night for some cheesecake that he didn't even want.
He didn't even. We ain't
I
forgot about you.
digress.
So, Meet the Grams. How we feel about that track?
This is when Kendrick started to bury it
Yeah.
because up until that point it was okay. Drake, you got some lines, cute, but like Kendrick buried that little boy with this. Like,
Yeah.
that's where this is where the rumor, not even rumor, because Megan the Stallion kind of started it too, but him alluding to the fact that Drake had a Brazilian butt lift, thus dubbing him BBL Drizzy. Thank
Wait,
you,
wait, wait,
Rick
wait,
Ross.
wait.
Oh wait,
Are you on? No, I
that's
think you're talking about
I'm Beat the Grabs.
Meet the Grams. He says BBL Drizzy.
No,
We
he
see.
called he alludes to the fact that Drake had a
Oh
Brazilian butt
yeah,
lift,
don't play
and
with them
then Rick Ross
Brazilians.
picked
It'll
it
be
up
Christian.
and called
Yeah,
him BBL Drizzy.
Rick Ross was calling him BBL Drizzy like a whole week or so before this song dropped, though.
Also in Meet the Grams,
Yeah,
Kendrick alludes to the fact that Drake hid his son from the public eye, which
no, his daughter.
oh, his daughter, excuse me.
Yeah, his daughter.
What's the line?
So
Don't be ashamed about who you with. That's how he treats your moms. Don't have a kid to hide again. Hmm.
so first of all,
Hmm.
he addresses Adonis because remember Pusha T outed the fact that Adonis existed back when he released the story of Addie Dawn
Mm-hmm.
2016. So when he said, so he starts the song off with, Dear Adonis, I'm sorry that man is your father, let's be honest. It takes a man to be a man, and your dad is not responsive. I look at him and wish your grandpa would have wore a condom. I'm sorry that you got to grow up and then stand behind him. Life is hard. I know the challenge is always going to beat us home. Sometimes our parents make mistakes that affect us until we grown.
When I
Oh,
tell
we're
you,
starting the song.
when I tell you, it was hard to breathe when you just read that. Like my chest got tight, just like, oh my God, you are really going hard.
Yeah, I'm sorry that you exist. I really it's not because that I don't want you to exist, but it's really your dad. He shouldn't have existed.
And especially the delivery, because it wasn't yelling or aggressive. It was just like, hey yo, I'm so sorry that
So
your
sorry.
grandpa didn't wear a condom.
Damn, it's not your fault. It's not your
Oh. Oh. And then what's another line? Uh Him and Weinstein should get fucked up in a cell for the rest of their life.
Ooh, he hates black women, hypersexualizes them with kinks of a nympho fetish, grew facial hair because he understood being a beard just fit him better. He got sex offenders on Hovo that keep on a monthly allowance. A child should never be compromised. He's keeping his child around him. We got to raise our daughters knowing there's predators around like him lurking. Fuck a rap battle. He should die so all these women can live with a purpose. That's in the letter to Drake's mother. Like, you raised a son that preys on little girls. How does that feel? How does that feel? I need
It's
your son to die in a cell because he's out here hypersexualizing black women.
so good. Oh my god, it's so good.
I'm so sorry. Like,
I'm sorry.
I'm so sorry. How does it feel? You raised a bitch. How does it feel? You raised a little Weinstein. Are you proud?
You raised the Lil Weinstein. Although Drake did deny claims that he had a daughter.
He did deny, but I'm waiting. I'm waiting. I'm waiting for it to blow over because one, they dug up an article from 2015 saying that a waitress from Miami was seeking child support from him. Found her Twitter account from around that same time, or I think it was 2012, that was
Mhm.
like, Drake, you playing, but that's okay. I'll be mama and daddy. And now that last one, I'm not sure because I don't believe in digging up kids' Instagram accounts. That got real weird. But
Leave
they
kids out of
leave like if she is hiding, like that could also be the mom's choice too. Like
it.
let's all calm down. Let's not do that, right? But
Yeah.
they found
Don't do that.
allegedly the 11-year-old account.
Yeah.
So now the account, I'm willing to be like, that could be any 11-year-old. Let's chill out. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But those two articles alone, it could have very well been like, I have a story, put the hush hush, give a settlement, never speak on it again. Because that, like, the timestamp was already on it.
Right.
So those weren't, so that's the only reason why I'm like, let's give it time. Because they didn't show Adonis' face for another month or two after the story of Addie Don came out.
Hmm.
So now, if it is just a rumor, it's a Pac released a song saying that he fucked Biggie's wife, and it wasn't true. So it could
Sometimes you say things to get somebody else's goat. Yeah.
right. But with that one, I'm willing to be like, let's just see, because you've already established a pattern of doing this.
Yes.
Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
And just knowing what I know about, I don't, I'm no claim to be an expert, but men who treat women a certain way, treat their daughters a certain way, where
Yeah.
they either don't interact with them at all, or they're very hyper protective,
Hmm.
or both. So um we'll just see. I'm not here to be an investigative journalist. I'm just like, stranger things have happened.
All right. Let's
But
take
we know
one
what
more
is
quick
true.
break. We're
Oh,
gonna
well,
take one more quick break, and then we'll get back to this last one because, baby, we gotta dissect this. We
oh,
gotta
absolutely.
go. I got the lyrics pulled out. We gotta. We just.
We'll be back.
We'll be back.
We are back in to talk about the greatest beef of our millennial generation. And before we took a break, I wanted to finish my statement. I said, we don't necessarily know if it's true about his daughter, but we do know that he was texting Millie Bobby Brown. And that's enough.
Who
And
was 14 at the time?
13,
13. Oh, even better.
13, third. And so we're going to get it. So why it's in this is important. We're going to get into all of the reactions to that, but
Hmm.
first we have to get into the anthem.
First off, cover art. The fact that the cover art to Not Like Us by Kendrick is Drake's mansion with all of the sex offender icons.
Yep. Brilliant.
Uh,
No notes.
no notes. No
Who
notes.
was
What
the
do you
graphic
what
designer? Who did this?
what? And this also came less
Oh,
than 24 hours after Meet the Brams. Like
yes.
when I tell you Kendrick Lamar is like he went from having fun on Euphoria and making fun of him to just being like, all right, let me just decimate you. I am now actually slightly irritated. Slightly irritated.
Slightly.
Slightly.
Do we want to go ahead and jump into the Atlantaverse?
I'm reading. Yes, I'm reading the lyrics to see if anybody stands out before that.
I'm
Um,
gonna just read the whole thing because once upon a time, all of us was in chains. Homie still doubled down, calling us some slaves. Atlanta was the mecca, building railroads and trains. Bear with me.
hey,
Let me put y'all on game. The settlers was using town folk to make it richer. Fast forward 2024, you got the same agenda. You run to Atlanta when you need a check balance. Let me break it down for you. This the real nigga challenge. You call future when you didn't see the club.
hey,
Look,
what?
baby, when you get your lingo up.
What?
One gave you false street cred. Thug made you feel like a slime in your head.
Hey, what?
Quavo said you could be from North Side.
What?
Two Chain said you good, but he lied. You run to Atlanta when you need a few dollars. No, you not a collie. You a
You a
fucking color.
fucking colonizer.
So let me tell you why that verse is important, right? Because it was about 2017, 2018. I was still living in Jackson at the time. Um, my friendship circle, a bunch of crate diggers and hip hop heads since we were teens, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like my high school circle. Even my high school sweetheart, we're still really cool. Shout out to Sean. Uh,
Oh,
we're still really cool. At the time, he was probably one of the first people that in my life that was like, I don't really fuck with Drake like that because I don't like the way he does younger artists. He was the first person to say this to me. And I was like, talk to me about that. So remember I put you on Abra, the singer?
yes, yes.
So Drake supposedly took like a reference track of one of hers and ran with it and got, big off of one of her songs. Then Shelly, aka Dram, remember the song I Like to Cha Cha at the Latin bar, yeah. With this like tying I like to cha like do you remember that song?
I like
So
to cha
he was
cha.
supposed to be on the remix for that. He didn't get
Okay,
on the remix for that. He instead made Hotline Bling and eclipsed Cha Cha all the way.
completely. Yeah.
Right. What's her name? My girl, Carrie Foe, was supposed to put Drake asked her to put her on Small Talk. And she said no, because all it's going to do is propel him, but it doesn't really do anything for her.
Right.
So when I look at artists like Block Boy JB, who's out of Memphis, Drake jumped on a remix for him or put him on a song. We haven't heard from Block Boy JB since. Looking back when Drake first came out, um, he made himself sound like this artist named Kurt Cobain out of Houston. I remember they both came out at the same time, or they got big at the same time, or got national acclaim at the same time. I stopped hearing about Kurt Cobain completely because he kind of made a song that sounded just like his, mimicked his
Yeah.
voice, gave himself a Southern twang, all of that. And I just remember thinking to myself, he's from Canada. And those are those things that you ignore because everybody else likes him and you're going with it. Again, one of the first lines of one of his songs, he said, who else want to fuck with Hollywood Co? That is famously an Outcast line talking about Hollywood courts and Bankhead. And you repurpose that song, that line to make it mean something else. That always rubbed me the wrong way, even when I was like 18. So I look at all of that. So fast forward now, we're coming to this verse about him being a colonizer of Southern hip hop. It's like a lot of the folks who have kind of peeped the way that he moves
Uh
feel so vindicated. And I just want to shout out to them.
huh.
They feel so vindicated. Because when I listen to that, I'm like, well, yeah, because like then because then this is when I started to pick it up, because then he making himself sound like he's from Houston. He started lining himself up with Atlanta people. And mind you, like he was with Cash Money at the time, so I'm sure a lot of the Southern influences were just there from the folks that he worked with.
Sure.
I'll give him that. I'll give him that. But then he started lining up with them, and then suddenly it's a lot of Caribbean people in Toronto. I'll give him that. But then he started coming out with dancehall tracks and starting to sound Jamaican. And then he started doing the Latino identity. And then, they peeped him with somebody and was like, oh, so you're a Habibi now? Like, because now he started to kind of look like he was, trying to do the Middle Eastern thing, then started trying to do Africa. It's like and now, he's in pictures with Sexy Red. And, you see him with all the butterfly clips in his head. There's a rapper out of St. Louis named Smino. And
Yeah.
Smino was wearing butterfly clips and wearing his hair that way. So it was like, so suddenly Smino was starting to get national attention. And now you're dressing exactly like him.
Yeah. And Smino will get buried. Like we won't hear much from him because look at what Drake's doing.
Exactly. Exactly. And so, and like, mind you, Smino hasn't gone too far back because we now live in an age where we have TikTok, we have Spotify, we
Right.
have other things. So people don't necessarily go, and Abra is still touring and Drum has still dropped albums since. So it's not like these people faded completely to the back, but it's more like he's cultivated these sounds from different folks, and has gone and has, appealed to pop sensibilities off of the backs of hip hop culture,
Yes.
or
Yes.
in the culture. And that has always been a critique of his. So to see, for Kendrick to call it out, and Kendrick technically being his peer, now that critique holds weight.
Yes.
Does that make sense? Because before it was like so we Jamaican now, he. But now Kendrick is like, no, you're a fucking colonizer, because now look at all the people who made you look like you have street cred, when really you are still just that suburban dude who, you're still that suburban dude that tries to act hard.
I feel like we're that Oprah meme where she looks at the camera and just goes. I mean, so let's back up because the Atlanta versus verse 3.
Mm-hmm.
We talked about Tupac and how Drake pulled him into the battle, and it's like that man don't fuck with you. He doesn't even know you.
He don't know you.
The first two lines of verse 2. You think the Bay gonna let you disrespect Pop? I think
Right.
Oakland show gonna be your last stop.
Huh. I was like, oh, certified lover boy, certified pedophile. Wop, 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 wop. Oh.
Just
Sorry, I went back to verse 1. I didn't even know. I was like, hold on, wait.
yeah, let's go back to verse 1. Hold on. Mustard on the beat. Hope.
So let's talk about that for a second.
Okay.
Because as you saw leading up to Kendrick releasing, we've all seen Rick Ross talking shit about Drake. Rick Ross dropped a song. When Drake was upset about Like That, the song that was released back in March, in his diss track, he was telling Metro he need to shut up and make some drums, nigga. Like that was what he told him.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And was trolling him hard. Like he sent, now Metro is from here.
Yeah.
So Drake sent a drum line to Magic City to chant, shut up and make some drums.
Yep.
So have you been following the mayhem since?
I remember that. I don't know what's going on as far as like the Metro booming Drake side other than the Magic City incident, because I did see that.
Oh, baby. So allow me to spam you
There's more.
So aside from what's happening right here, right? We have Metro who said, all right, bet. So Metro took I think, a sound clip from TikTok because somebody made like a song called BBL Drizzy, BBL Drizzy, BB, and talking about how good he feels with his new plastic surgery.
Uh-huh.
Metro took that sample, threw some drums on it, released it on SoundCloud, and said whoever can come up with the best diss track can get $10,000 and a free beat from me.
Yep.
Runner up gets a free beat too. Dylan.
BBL Drizzy.
Have you been on TikTok?
Only
There
the
are
ones that you've sent me.
freestyles. There are freestyles to BBL Drizzy. There is Bollywood dancing to BBL
I
Drizzy.
love it so
There
much.
is a guitar solo to BBL Drizzy. There is an oud. A oud is like a
An
guitar
oud, yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
oud to BBL Drizzy. There are people rapping in Japanese and you translate it to I don't like your music, you suck, you need to grow up. There are neo soul singers
BBL
dissing Drake
Drizzy.
to BBL Drizzy. And so I put that along the side of Kendrick because it's like, Metro, are you playing it right now? Somebody dropped, I don't know if somebody dropped a merengue version. And I think that's what I sent you this morning. L
Uh-huh.
BBL, L Drake. I don't know if I said so alongside of Kendrick being like, I'm what the culture feeling,
Yeah.
or you a colonizer, Metro just said, raise your hand if you also don't like Drake. And teenagers in Taiwan are going, me?
I mean, I'm not gonna sit here and pray for the demise of somebody's career,
No.
but I Drake has never hit with me from the very get
Mm.
because it's just like it's the Post Malone of it all. It's like
Really?
it's you were raised affluent in Canada. You were a child star on Degrassi. I just can't picture you as like this rapper who all of a sudden has street cred and knows what the hood is like. Wow. You don't, that's not your existence.
Mm.
Like, talk about what, and that's what resonates with Kendrick to me. He talks about what he knows, what he came up with, what he came through. That shit resonates.
Yeah. I
Drake
think
just doesn't have the same depth.
he doesn't. So what I'll say about Drake, what I will give him credit for is like he came out with songs for the ladies for a long time, right? I'll give him he's given us a lot of great dance numbers, He's given us some cute little R&B tracks. I got my eye on you.
Hey.
Everything that I see, I
I
know
want your heart, love, and emotion endlessly.
I, like love that song. Find Your Love was what made
I mean,
me
you mentioned
like
Hotline Bling. That was a moment
it was a moment.
to the point where Erica Badu even said, "Hey, let me borrow this track."
Call me on myself. Yeah. I
La
think
di vice at because it was that one, and then also I'm cooking in the kitchen and I'll call you back.
right. Oh, you took it back.
Baby, that little EP can't use my phone.
And her whole mixtape was just her like using people's.
Like
We'll
I'm sorry, the song Dial let's deviate. The song Dial a Freak will get me every motherfucking time. Every motherfucking time. It starts with talking about bees and this and this and this. And then once that beat kicks in, eh, eh,
mm,
eh,
mm,
done,
mm, mm, mm.
done. And then what's I think it's the cellular device song where she goes through and she's like, if you want Erica to flip burgers or throw the first pitch at your company's softball game, press two. And goes through all these options. And then it's like, if she fucks with you, just text because I really don't check my
Don't check my
messages.
right. It's a great song.
Ugh.
It's a great
Okay.
mixtape.
Oh, yeah.
Taking it back to Drake, I
Yeah.
think where he began to lose me, I think at one point What the difference between Kendrick is that he is consistently an introspective rapper. What makes him introspective is because he's always looking within. So even though he's always looking within, that person he's looking at within is changing, and that's reflected on every album. With Drake, I'm not hearing a change of perspective. I'm not hearing a change in personality. I'm
Uh-huh.
not hearing, it's always hoes before bros, but I'll do anything for you. I fly you out and I'll do anything, and I don't understand why I'm alone at night. Baby, it's been 15 years. Maybe it's you. Maybe you need, take a year off, find out who you are, step away from the party music for a second,
Step
because
away.
now it's very clear that you're holding on to that youthful part of you. And I'm just not there anymore. Especially now you're hanging on to the younger folks who are clearly like 10 and 15 years younger than us to stay relevant.
Yes.
And now it just feels like, and now it feels like a money grab. And now it feels like now it feels like you the old dude at the club, because that that wisdom is not reflected in your music. Does that make sense? It's like
Yes.
it'd be different if you was getting older, you come up to the club, but it's still like OGs are OGs because their wisdom is reflected in their music. Like,
Mm-hmm.
even the hood classics is like this hood classic and this hood classic, those aren't the same person anymore because
No.
that person changed over time. And I'm just not getting that with him. Moreover, what makes Not Like Us so special is that we talked about how Drake hood hops, you know, because Megan again woke it up, cosplay, gangsters, fake ass accents, posted in another nigga hood like a bad bitch, right?
Right.
Because he went from Houston to Atlanta, back to Toronto to New York. Like those are all the sounds that he bit from. Not Like Us is such a California song.
Mm-hmm.
It's such a California song. And
Mm-hmm.
it's got Northern California go dumb elements. It's got the Southern California crit walk elements. All the people in California right now are having the fucking time of their lives. And that's what makes it so special, because it's like, I'm from here. I could say I'm from here.
Yeah.
I have these people behind me because this is what it sounds like to be from here. I have a sound. This is the sound that I can claim. What can you claim? Because you went full Diplo. You went around the world and back, and
Been around the world and I can't
I
find
can
my
find my
baby.
baby. What do you claim?
Right.
You're the kingmaker from where you're from. Toronto. What does Toronto sound like? Do you know?
That would be an interesting dive. Like, what does Toronto hip hop sound like? Instead of trying to borrow from Jamaica and Compton and the South and all these other places that you are not from to form your sound, like go back to your roots.
Which what are they? Which what are they? Because as has been stated before, because and there's room for people who, it's tricky, but there's room for people to say like, I'm not from that life, but this is what I have to rap about. Chance the Rapper, it went a little sideways for him, but he created room for himself to do that. You don't
Right.
have to be, you didn't have to be that, but you now made yourself like, I'm the slime, I'm mob ties, I'm this, I'm that.
You're not. You're not. You think
It's
you a colleague, you really a colonizer.
and that was the nail. That was the nail. So before we
So
had on this call, I was talking to my cousin for a short bit. She was like, I don't know if Kendrick is allowed to drop a diss track because he's kind of fucking up Drake's money. Like, or because UMG had so much money tied into him, Drake dropped a shoe. All of those sales are plummeting because of these diss tracks.
yeah.
So we'll see. What are you hoping to come out of this, friend? Are you giving up on another diss track from Kendrick, or are you expecting another one?
Oh, no, 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 no. So I mean, the Heart Part 6 came out a couple of days later. This and,
Right. I did listen
and
to
that's
that.
where Drake said, we know that you're dropping 6 minutes after, so instead of posting my address, you have a lot to address. Uh, only fucking with Whitney's, not Millie Bobby Brown's. I'd never look twice at no teenager. Lies. But then this is where I find this kind of curious. I feel like Drake is almost throwing in the towel because in it he says that
Mhm.
the beef is a good exercise and suggested that Kendrick would be a worthy competitor if he really was a predator. So this is a good exercise. So you're done? Are you
Right.
done?
Like, oh, okay, well, this was fun.
This was fun, guys. Let's do
I don't
this
want to do this no
later.
more.
So the way that I perceive that, it feels like Drake's sort of saying, "Hey, white towel, throw it in
White
the."
towel. It's
Um,
giving white towel.
it's
It's
giving,
giving
it's
white
giving
towel.
throwing in the towel, and I don't think that Kendrick is done
Right.
because if that was me and you came from my life, baby, I'm not stopping until you are decimated. What is Kendrick Lamar's astrological sign?
What is Kendrick's sign? Oh, he's a Gemini.
Is he?
He's a Gemini with Cancer placements.
Heard. And Drake is a.
As a Cancer with Gemini placements, I can't help but to be pleased.
And Drake is a Scorpio.
And Drake is a Scorpio. Also
I
placements.
mean, this is so much fun. Like,
It was. And
because
what else is Drake is what I also want to point out too. I'm sorry, there was a thought that I had earlier about the allegations. And what's really interesting to come out about the teenager part, right? When you said I am look twice at no teenager, all of the teenage boys from Toronto are telling stories about how their high school crushes used to go to Drake parties and how they were so jealous of him because their high school crush would be at his parties. And everyone's like,
Mhm,
do you just realize what you said?
mhm,
Don't backtrack now. Don't delete it.
mm-mm. It's messy. It's slimy in the wrong way. Oprah.
I'm waiting for another track. I'm waiting for a track. I'm waiting for a track.
I do. I don't think this is the end of it. I
Right.
fingers crossed it's not the end of it. This has been the most entertaining rap beef in a while.
Right. Right.
Like, because
Right.
I also like that it's not threats of violence or like I'm gonna come shoot you up, blah, 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 blah. Like it's not the flex of like I've got more money and bitches and guns and it's really like it comes down to the pen. Like
And it
these
comes
two
down to
boys, even though Drake is getting his ass kicked, that little man is still putting the pen to the paper.
he is. He is. He is. He is. We'll give him that. But it's also, I think it's also a little bit of a culture war because now you have a lot of people looking at gatekeeping in another way.
Yes.
Something else that happened was are you familiar with Vlad TV?
Glad TV.
Vlad. So Vlad is like
Oh.
this white um Russian American. He's probably first or second immigrant or something like that. I don't know, but he's Ukrainian Russian. Um and he's like a person that interviews hip hop artists for his show and podcast. Vlad is very much the feds. Vlad
Okay.
is the guy that like when he interviews people, he always comes at them with kind of like this very narrow view of who he's at. Like for instance, I'll share with you this viral clip where he's like, he's doing this viral clip where he's like, I believe that if a country star was a country singer for about 2 years and then suddenly put a hip hop song on the charts, then he wouldn't be admired like he is now, making the case for Lil Nas X why it was disrespectful for him to be country. And the guy that was Lord Jamar. Lord Jamar is a part of a legendary group called the Brand Nubians.
Mhm.
Lord Jamar was like, are you sure? Because you just described Post Malone. And then he goes, Post Malone. It's so great because, and so Vlad has always kind of been like this culture vulture that has prided his whole journalism off on career off of interviewing people about like, oh, so I heard that you were a part of this thing. And it's like, why would I talk to you about an open case? Like, why,
Right.
So he said something about like, oh, I don't like the way that Kendrick talked about Drake on Euphoria because the bars is, just all of the white journalists, hip hop journalists have been like, I mean, the bars were fine, but they just, I don't know, but they don't want to see themselves in the Euphoria song.
Yes.
Essentially, is what it comes down to. So I forgot what his initial tweet was, but a woman named Morgan Jerkins, who is a Princeton professor, quotes it with "Stay out of Black folks' business." To which Vlad responds, "Does your employer at Princeton? Does your employer know that you're being racist and saying these things? Do I need to talk to your employer about you being discriminatory? You're always playing the victim mentality, typical victim mentality, da 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 da."
Hold on, back all the way the fuck up. How is that being racist for her to say stay out of black folks' business? That's not.
In
Make it
short,
make it make sense.
in short, he lost that battle because everybody jumped on his head. And he later, not too much later, found out that said Princeton professor was also Darkchild's niece.
Cancel yourself, sir. Cancel yourself. Ugh.
So she,
I mean,
retweeted with, also stop contacting my family. So we hope that this is the beginning of the end of culture vultures like Vlad. Let's get him the fuck out of here. That is another reason why I'm very thankful for this beef. The side effects have been great. I'm
could you
sorry.
imagine the face crack? Him trying to go after this woman and then her saying, "Do you know who my uncle is?"
No, she didn't even have to say it. It was everybody else being like, imagine telling a woman telling a black woman she doesn't know anything about hip hop only to find out that that's Darkchild's niece.
Gotcha.
Same.
Oh yeah. Hey, Tony Braxton.
So anyway, friend, I got to start getting ready to go to
Yes.
this meeting. But this
This
has
is
been lovely.
this has been I didn't even need coffee this morning. This just gave me my life.
This has been your fuel.
Revisiting this, I'm gonna go through my day with a skip in my step.
I'm going to spam you with BBL Drizzy.
Please do.
Thank you guys for listening to Can't Get You Out of My Head podcast. You can find us across platforms at Can't Get You Out of My Head podcast. We're on Spotify, we're on Instagram. And are we going to get a playlist out of this? Can we put all the songs we talked about on the
Yeah,
playlist?
I don't see why
Yeah.
not.
Yeah, let's get that. Look out for that. Next today is Wednesday, so like what, on Friday? You'll be listening to this on Wednesday, so look out for the playlist on Friday. And you could find Dylan. Where can they find you?
You can find the doll at the_Dylan_Michael on the Instagrams.
And you
And
can
how about
find me. Oh, and they can find me on every platform at WHYASTINROCKS. That's why, the word why, Astin rocks.
why? This has been so much fun. I
This
miss
is
you, friend. Even though it's via Zoom and we're not in the same room.
it's okay because we're gonna record our next episode in person and hopefully it's a part 2 to this madness.
Oh my god.
I love you.
Until next time, kids.
Till next time.
Bye.